I'm Steve Hensley. Some storms are firing up across the region this afternoon, and the threat of more heavy rain continues all the way through tomorrow. Let's begin our Severe Weather Alert Day coverage with meteorologist Evan Hatter. And Evan, a new warning just came down moments ago.
I mean, within the last few minutes, Steve, we've still got the flash flood watch, or the flood watch. It's technically called an aerial flood watch, but that's in effect, went into effect 4 hours ago, runs through tomorrow night at 8 o'clock and includes more counties than it did yesterday. We've added Wayne, Logan, and Mingo in West Virginia and Lawrence in Kentucky. From our friends over the National Weather Service in Charleston, so they added those counties in a little bit earlier on this afternoon, and it makes sense. We've got plenty of heavy rain out there in some locations. We zoom into Bell County. That's where the flash flood warning is now. Northern parts of Bell County does include or is very close to downtown Pineville, takes in part of US 119 there as you're headed toward Harlan. We've seen nearly 2 inches and now 3 inches of rain over the last 24 hours in that spot, so it's not going to take much for local high water issues to begin there. And more heavy rain as you head into portions of Pike County, east of downtown Pikeville now, but as you head out toward Phelps, out toward Belfry, we're going to continue to see some heavy rain as that continues to push on to the east. A few more there just south of downtown Prestonsburg. This is just round one. We've got more to go. You see them developing out toward the south central Kentucky region, down toward Nashville as well. Level 2, slight risk for excessive rainfall as we head through tonight. The latest details on when the rain finally looks to move out, that's coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Kentucky's junior Senator Rand Paul made stops in eastern Kentucky today, visiting local leaders and those affected by the floodwaters, hearing their concerns and hoping to take those back to Washington. WIMT's Dakota Makris was with the senator this morning in Hazard.
The senator's first stop in eastern Kentucky was at Gospel Light Baptist Church in Hazard. Paul toured the donation site at the church, talking with volunteers who work tirelessly to get donations into the hands of people who need them. He visited with flood survivors inside the church's shelter. I talked with the man the senator spoke with. He is from the Lost Creek area in Breathitt County and says he cannot move back into his home. He has to rebuild.
It was hard and scary, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but we all gathered in one room and we prayed.
People in eastern Kentucky are resilient, and I think we'll see them bounce back, but we're here for the long haul. Not only is the church here for the long haul, we are too.
Senator Paul is sending a letter to President Joe Biden and Governor Andy Beshear asking them to allow COVID-19 relief money to be used during disasters so that way communities can begin spending that money. In Hazard, I'm Dakota Makris, WIMT Mountain News.
Senator Paul also made stops at Letcher Central High School and Heinemann Settlement School today. In the past week and a half, people from all across the Commonwealth and beyond have come to lend a helping hand, and now one university sports team is trying to make an impact as well. The Eastern Kentucky University men's basketball team paid a visit to the donation and distribution site at the old J.C. Penney's building in Hazard, using their manpower to help unload donations and sort them.
We talk about this all the time. It's not what you get, it's what you give. And that's not just in basketball, but in life. And, you know, they have a platform, they can help, they can have a big impact, you know, and so they want to do that.
Coach Hamilton adds that this mission is especially important given the former players and current staff that call this region home. He says when they wear EKU across their chests, it means more than just the team they represent. The U.S. government is making a giant investment in the tiniest of things, chips. President Biden signed the CHIPS and Science Act Tuesday in an effort to boost U.S. competitiveness over China in the semiconductor industry. Dependence on foreign chip makers was felt acutely in the widespread pandemic shortages that continue to frustrate consumers. As CBS's Naomi Ruckham explains, chips are in almost all big-ticket items we use.
And I promise you, we're leading the world again for the next decades.
With the stroke of a pen, President Biden is bringing chip manufacturing and research back to American shores.
It's in our economic interest, and it's in our national security interest to do so.
The $280 billion CHIPS and Science Act includes around $52 billion in subsidies for U.S. computer chip companies, $24 billion in tax credits for new manufacturing facilities, and tens of billions of dollars for research and development.
We're going to construct an entire semiconductor ecosystem right here in the United States of America.
Manufacturers aren't wasting any time. Tuesday, Micron announced a $40 billion plan to boost domestic memory chip production, and GlobalFoundries, in partnership with Qualcomm, is expanding a plant in upstate New York. But these investments aren't likely to solve the pandemic-induced global shortages right away.
Just the complexity of technology, that it takes years to put capacity on. And I think for the better part of the next 5 to 10 years, we'll be chasing supply in this industry.
Chips are needed for just about everything we use these days, from cars and consumer electronics to medical equipment and military weapons, even kitchen appliances.
There's ovens with cameras that you can view what's baking, and almost all the refrigerators have computers, circuit boards in them now.
And modern living is putting increasing pressure on those tiny chips. A recent Commerce Department report found demand for chips was as much as 17% higher in 2021 than it was in 2019. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Tuesday. The Dow closes down today more than 56 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. But straight ahead here on First at 4, a new study reveals that spiders may have the ability to dream during rapid eye movement.
And more heavy rain remains possible through the next day or so. I've got the latest on potential high water issues coming right up.